With him, because that's what he wanted.
Okay.
That's what he wanted. He wanted to get you outside of yourself. He wanted to piss you off and kind of control the situation. And I guess I recognize that. And plus, it wasn't part of my game. Like it frustrates people more when you just keep coming and coming and coming, and you just keep getting things done. And no matter what they throw at you or no matter what they do,
Tim Duncan just broke his silence, and the basketball world is in absolute chaos. The man who stayed quiet for nearly a decade just fired shots at LeBron James, and what he said has fans picking sides like never before. Numbers don't make you the GOAT, Duncan stated in a private conversation that somehow leaked this week. But here's the thing. This isn't just about stats or rings anymore. This is about legacy, respect, and what it really means to be the greatest. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll question everything you thought you knew about the GOAT debate.
In your opinion, with that GOAT conversation, who are some guys that don't get mentioned enough in that GOAT talk?
Tim Duncan, absolutely. Wilt Chamberlain, absolutely. Bill Russell, absolutely. Like, you don't mention those guys. And all of them for different reasons. Because you think of like LeBron being a GOAT, what he's done on the court, what he's done off the court, how he's elevated the game, transcended the game, and then you throw Bill Rutten.
January 15th, 2025. A private charity event in San Antonio. The kind of low-key gathering where NBA legends show up, shake hands, take photos, and disappear before the media even knows they were there. Tim Duncan was supposed to be one of those ghosts, in and out, no headlines, no drama. That's always been his way. But someone had their phone recording, and what Tim Duncan said in a private conversation with a group of former players has now become the most controversial statement in basketball this year. The audio clip hit Twitter at 11 p.m. that night. Within 3 hours, it had 12 million views. By morning, every sports show in America was talking about it. Here's what Duncan said, and I'm quoting directly. "I see all these debates about who's the GOAT, and everyone's counting points and assists like it's a video game. But that's not what makes you great. Numbers don't make you the GOAT. Mindset does. How you carry yourself, how you make your teammates better without needing credit for it. That's what separates legends from stat fillers." Now, Duncan didn't mention LeBron James by name. He didn't have to. Everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. The replies came fast. One fan wrote, "Duncan really said what we've all been thinking." Another fired back, "Bron lives rent-free in everyone's head. Stay mad." Within hours, the entire basketball community was split down the middle. And the craziest part? Tim Duncan still hasn't said another word about it. Because that's who he is. He drops a bomb and walks away. No press conference, no apology tour, no clarification. Just silence. And that silence is louder than anything LeBron could post on Instagram.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Okay,
it's gonna be fun.
Let's talk about it. You're 40 years old now.
Yes, sir.
You've been in the league 22 years, longer than you were not in the league. You're in the league.
Right.
And you're playing like you're one of the best seasons you've ever had.
Yeah.
Why is that, you think? Is it comfort? Is it what is it about this year?
I mean, I think obviously I've been in the game for a while, so I kind of know what to expect. And, obviously, one, you got to take care of your body, but more importantly, you got to take care of your mind. Being a professional athlete, if your mind is not as sharp as possible or as clear as possible, then you're not going to be able to perform at a high level.
To understand why this hits so hard, you need to understand what's been happening with LeBron over the past few months, because this didn't come out of nowhere. This has been building for a while. LeBron James is having an incredible season. At 40 years old, he's still putting up numbers that would make players half his age jealous. He crossed 40,000 career points earlier this year. He's closing in on every major statistical record in NBA history, and he's been very vocal about it, posting workout videos, sharing milestone graphics, retweeting analysts who call him the greatest of all time. Nothing wrong with that, right? He's earned the right to celebrate his achievements. But here's where it gets complicated, because every time LeBron posts about his stats, the same conversation starts. Is LeBron the GOAT now? Has he done enough to pass Jordan? And the media has been relentless. ESPN dedicated an entire week to the debate, Podcasts break down his numbers versus Jordan versus Kareem versus everyone. Analysts pull up advanced metrics, efficiency ratings, longevity arguments. It's everywhere. You can't escape it. But here's what Tim Duncan noticed, and what a lot of old-school players have been quietly frustrated about. The conversation has become entirely about numbers, not about winning, not about leadership, not about the intangibles that make someone truly great, just numbers. And for someone like Duncan, who built his entire legacy on the opposite philosophy, that's a problem. Duncan won 5 championships, 3 finals MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs. But if you ask him about his stats, he probably couldn't tell you his career scoring average off the top of his head. That was never the point for him. The point was winning. The point was doing whatever his team needed. Some nights that meant scoring 30. Some nights that meant grabbing 15 rebounds and setting screens all game. He didn't care about the spotlight. He cared about the result. LeBron's approach is different. And that's not a criticism, it's just a fact. LeBron has always understood his brand, his legacy, his place in history. He's calculated about it. He knows what the numbers mean. He knows what the narratives are, and he actively shapes them. 2 different philosophies, 2 different eras, and now they're colliding.
Never engaged in trash talk, Tim?
With him, because that's what he wanted.
Okay.
That's what he wanted. He wanted to get you outside yourself. He wanted to piss you off and kind of control the situation. And I guess I recognize that. And plus, it wasn't part of my game. Like it frustrates people more when you just keep coming and coming and coming, and you just keep getting things done, and no matter what they throw.
Let's talk about why Tim Duncan's words carry so much weight. Because it's easy to forget just how dominant this man was. They called him the big fundamental. Boring, mechanical, no flash, no personality. And you know what? He wore that label like a badge of honor. 5 championships. 5! Do you understand how hard that is? Jordan did it twice, 2 three-peats with a retirement in between. Kobe did it 5 times, but 2 of those came with Shaq. LeBron has 4, and he had to switch teams twice to get them. Duncan, same team, same coach, same quiet dominance for 19 years. But here's the thing that makes Duncan different, and here's what he's really saying when he talks about mindset over numbers. Tim Duncan sacrificed, not just shots or minutes, he sacrificed his ego. There were seasons where Duncan could have averaged 30 points a game if he wanted to, but when Tony Parker became the focal point of the offense, Duncan stepped back. When Kawhi Leonard emerged as a superstar, Duncan became a role player in his own system. He took pay cuts so the team could sign better players. He never complained, never demanded trades, never leaked stories to the media about being unhappy. Compare that to the modern era. Players switch teams every 2 years. They demand max contracts even when it hurts the roster. They track their stats obsessively because they know that's what gets you on highlight shows and in Hall of Fame debates. And LeBron, whether you love him or hate him, has been the face of that shift. He's had 4 finals appearances where his team got swept or gentlemen swept. He's had seasons where his stats were incredible, but his team didn't win. And every time the conversation is, but look at his numbers, how can you blame him? Duncan's point is simple. If your numbers are great, but your team isn't winning, are you really doing what matters? Now, I know what LeBron fans are going to say. LeBron dragged terrible teams to the finals. Duncan always had talent around him. And sure, there's truth to that. But Duncan's response, if he bothered to give one, would probably be, did I have talent around me, or did I make my teammates better by not needing to be the center of attention? That's the heart of this debate, and that's why Duncan's comments cut so deep. Now here's where things get really interesting. Because according to sources close to Duncan's inner circle, and yes, even the most private legends have people who talk, this frustration has been building for years. One former teammate, speaking on condition of anonymity, said this: Tim watches games now and shakes his head. He sees guys hunting for stats in garbage time. He sees players celebrating individual milestones when their team is losing, and he doesn't understand it. That's not how we were raised in the game. Another source claimed that Duncan had a conversation with a current NBA coach last year where he expressed concern about what he called the Instagram era of basketball. Players are more worried about their highlight reels than their win-loss records, more concerned with trending on Twitter than earning respect in the locker room. And here's the part that has everyone connecting dots. Multiple people who were at that charity event said Duncan made a specific comment about stat padding that didn't make it into the viral clip. He allegedly said, "There are players today who could have 15 points and 8 assists, but they'll stay in a blowout game to get to 20 and 10 because they know that's what gets talked about. We used to rest in blowouts. Now guys are fighting to stay on the court when the game's already over." No names mentioned, but social media detectives immediately started pulling up examples. And guess whose name kept coming up? LeBron's. There are compilation videos of LeBron staying in games that are already decided, stats from fourth quarters where the outcome isn't in question. And while LeBron's defenders argue he's just being competitive, Duncan's camp and a growing number of old-school fans see it differently. They see it as exactly what Duncan was talking about, prioritizing personal legacy over team success. Now, to be fair, Duncan's people haven't officially confirmed any of this. When reporters reached out for comment, they got the same response they always get: silence. Tim Duncan doesn't do interviews. He doesn't clarify. He doesn't engage. That's his power. He said what he said, and if you want to interpret it however you want, that's on you. But LeBron? LeBron heard it. Everyone did. 24 hours after Duncan's comments went viral, LeBron posted an Instagram story. No caption, just a graphic showing his all-time rankings. First in points, fourth in assists, top 10 in numerous other categories. Then, a simple emoji, the crown. He didn't mention Duncan, didn't need to. The message was clear. My numbers speak for themselves. And in a way, that was the perfect response, because it proved exactly what Duncan was saying. When challenged on his legacy, LeBron's first instinct was to point to his stats, not his championships, not his leadership, not the relationships he built or the culture he created, his stats. The basketball world exploded. Former players started taking sides. One Hall of Famer tweeted, "Duncan is right. We've lost what made this game beautiful." Another responded, "Nah, LeBron revolutionized basketball. Duncan's just mad the game passed him by." Fans created hashtags. Hashtag Team Duncan and hashtag LeBron trended for 3 straight days. YouTube channels posted debate videos. Sports shows dedicated entire segments to breaking down both legacies. But here's what makes this fascinating. Both sides have a point. LeBron's longevity is unparalleled. Playing in an elite level for 22 seasons is absurd. His statistical dominance is undeniable. If you value consistency, versatility, and sustained excellence, LeBron has the strongest case of any player in history. But Duncan's philosophy resonates with a different kind of fan, the ones who grew up watching basketball as a team sport, the ones who remember when winning mattered more than your efficiency rating, the ones who believe that leadership isn't about your stats, but about how your teammates play when you're on the floor. And if you look at the numbers, ironically, Duncan might have a point even by LeBron's own standards. Duncan's teams won 71% of their games when he played. LeBron's have won 65%. Duncan's playoff teams were more consistent. His finals record is better. His teammates speak about him with a reverence that, let's be honest, you don't always hear about LeBron. But LeBron's supporters will counter. Duncan played in the perfect system with the perfect coach. LeBron had to carry teams that had no business being competitive. And when LeBron had help, he won. 4 rings is nothing to dismiss. So who's right? That's the thing. Maybe they both are. Maybe the GOAT debate is unanswerable because the criteria keep changing. Maybe Duncan represents one era's values and LeBron represents another's, and neither is wrong. They're just different. Or maybe, just maybe, Duncan is onto something. Maybe we've become so obsessed with quantifying greatness that we've forgotten to actually watch the game and feel who makes it special. Tim Duncan said his piece. He won't say another word about it. He'll go back to his quiet life in San Antonio, coaching youth basketball, staying out of the spotlight, and watching the chaos he created from a distance. LeBron will keep posting, keep breaking records, keep building his case, because that's who he is, and there's nothing wrong with that. But here's what this moment revealed. The GOAT debate isn't about who's right anymore. It's about what you value. Do you value numbers and longevity? LeBron wins. Do you value selflessness and team-first mentality? Duncan wins. Do you value peak dominance? Jordan wins. Do you value revolutionizing the game? Magic or Curry could win. The debate will never end, but Duncan's comments did something important. They reminded us that greatness can't be measured by spreadsheets alone, that there's an intangible quality to being the best that goes beyond points, rebounds, and assists. And whether you agree with him or not, you have to admit, for a guy who hasn't said anything publicly in years, Tim Duncan just made the loudest statement of 2025. So here's the real question, and I want you to comment below because I'm genuinely curious where you stand. If being the GOAT is about numbers, then why do we still debate it? The stats are right there. LeBron has the most points ever. That should settle it, right? But it doesn't. And if it's not about stats, then what is it about? What is Tim Duncan trying to tell us that maybe LeBron and maybe all of us are missing? Drop your take in the comments. Are you Team Duncan or Team LeBron? And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we've got more basketball drama coming your way. Trust me, this GOAT debate is far from over.